Hello future Chiros and science fans, it's me Ree, and in this video we are going to do a brief overview of cranial nerve 1, also known as the olfactory nerve, or as the nerve to which we smell the turd. More on that later. Let's look at the pathway for the olfactory nerve. We begin all the way down at the bottom of our glorious honker, or more specifically within the nose in an area called the nasal cavity. At the roof of the nasal cavity, there is the olfactory mucus layer, shown here in this blue. This layer assists in the collection of odor particles. So, say we had a beautiful turd, and we smell it, so we got methane going all up in our nose. Within this mucus layer, those particles are going to dissolve, and special olfactory bipolar neurons contain dendrites that exist within this olfactory mucus and react to these trapped odor particles. The axons of the olfactory neurons will join and traverse through the cribriform plate of the ethmoid bone, running into what's known as the olfactory bulb, which lies underneath the frontal lobe of the cerebral cortex. The axons of these special olfactory neurons then synapse with the dendritic extensions from another type of neuron within the olfactory bulb in an area that is called the glomerulus. These secondary nerves are termed mitral cells. The axons from these mitral cells join to a structure called the olfactory tract. The olfactory tract will branch into two stria at the junction with the anterior perforated substance. This stria is the lateral olfactory stria, which is really important and is the pathway to a specific part of the deep temporal lobe around the uncus. This region is called the primary olfactory cortex and includes parts of the piriform cortex of the temporal lobe, parts of the amygdala, parts of the entorhinal cortex, and the anterior portion of the parahippocampal region. It is in this cortex where the cognitive processing and perceiving of smell occurs. Oh, that's a turd. Now, the other branch is termed the medial olfactory stria, and via the anterior commissure projects to the contralateral olfactory bulb. Now, this is important because that means that olfaction can be bilateral in function. It is also important to note that olfaction is the only sense that does not reach the cerebral cortex via the thalamus. Now, let's draw out this pathway quickly, and then I'm going to give you a chance to quiz yourself on what we've learned thus far. I want you to know what you know and know what you don't know. So here's our basic pathway. Here's our part 1, our part 2, our part 3, our part 4, 5, and I don't think I need to say all the numbers for you, but I will continue 6 and 7. So 1 is cranial nerve 1, or the olfactory neurons. Then 2 is going to be our olfactory bulb, which is going to lead to our olfactory tract, which then is going to split again at the anterior perforated substance into the medial olfactory stria and our lateral olfactory stria. The lateral is going to bring us to our primary olfactory cortex. And then our medial olfactory stria is going to bring us to the contralateral olfactory bulb. So the other side, so right to left and left to right. Now, let's kind of look at what questions we could see on an exam. So like the origin of cranial nerve 1 is in the olfactory mucosa. The exit for the brain is ventral to the hypothalamus. Now we exit the skull in the cribriform plate of the ethmoid bone, so that's where those olfactory neurons are kind of transcending and then synapsing with the mitral cells. The function of this nerve is for smell, right? The turd smeller. Then these type of nerves are special or specific afferent tracts nerves. The exam for this is to have odorants applied or brought up to each nostril while the patient has their eyes closed and seeing if they can smell. The lesion of this would be anosmia, which is the loss of smell, or cacosmia, which cacosmia is basically where you have this pungent or like turd smell always, not like a middle school boys' locker room. Well, there we have it. I hope you found this video helpful and good luck with your studies. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more chiro notes and fun science